So I'm super unhappy with this, and I don't want to see it anymore. Concept is okay. I'm not going to use it 'cause, it's okay. So I'm going to cover over. This is a palette. It's a Smalt Hue. I believe Alizarin Crimson. And quinacridone. What is it? Nicoazole quinacridone. Really pretty color. What I'm finding, Smalt is extremely sheer. This is extremely sheer. I don't like this combination. I like these two. I don't like this one. And I'm finding this palette very overly sheer in a way that's I'm not enjoying. And why is she? Keep going. She right there. Yeah. And what's interesting is she's done with Smalt Hue, Naphthol, and transparent iron oxide, which is similar in nature to the Quin-Azo Gold, but different enough that I didn't like it. And I'm just going to clear off this palette because I'm so unhappy. Green, awful, awful green. Smalt makes beautiful red violets with things. And that just kind of almost looks like that. It's interesting. But, yeah, I didn't like the face shade I got. I just didn't like this palette. And sometimes when you work this way, because I just grab stuff, and Smalt is a new color to me, so I've been playing around with it. I don't like this palette, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm just going to start here. And I'm just unhappy with how this dude turned out, and it's making me unhappy. So bye-bye. Bye-bye things that make me unhappy. I just want most of it gone. I don't really care if some of it shows through. There's a lot of paint here. I'm going to bring in some of this. So, that's kind of ugly color. I'm just going to continue scooping this off. That's the thing. If you have something you absolutely do not like, you don't have to keep it. Because there's lots of things that in my art journals that I'm like, it's okay. But I like it well enough to keep it, and this is not that. I'm really unhappy with it, and just want to see it. Sometimes when you're unhappy with something, seeing it makes you even more unhappy. So, bye-bye. It doesn't really matter because that one's not done. Okay. I was thinking I had a real page under this, and I don't. I'm not concerned. So for me, Smalt Hue and the Quin-Nicoazole Gold stuff, not a good mix. Transparent iron oxide, I really enjoyed that one. This one, I'm finding it very frustrating. I'll make some collage paper. What do I want to put in here? Let's bring in some blue, or maybe some gray. Let's make it a background. It doesn't matter what it is, because chances are it's not gonna show. And we have, I'm just gonna go, do I go over here? I'm just gonna go over here. That's it. This is really actually a nice brown, but I didn't want brown. I wanted more of a, purple, green, not purple, green. What did you green? I didn't get you green. So just covering up. It's enough palette. And I do try to research this one. pretty much, I think this and oops, this are the only two things left in this, so let's kind of get rid of it. Fill it up and be done with it. Move on to a new one. Some light in here. Not liking this brown color. It's feeling very dark to me, and I don't particularly loving it. And the thing with this kind of stuff with the background, I'm not too attached to it because a lot of times they go away anyways. Some gray in. Scooping up sections and going bye-bye. This is probably enough paint on here. That's kind of ugly. That's okay. I really, smalt is really a pretty color. It makes some really pretty violets. With some things and other things, you kind of like, Okay. It's more white. White. Let's just bring some white in. Lighten that up a wee bit. Dry. Small journal. And I find the Nickel Azo quinacridone gold thing can kind of be a bit haphazard when you're making a palette. It's a really beautiful color, but sometimes the palette stuff just doesn't work out so well. Yeah, so this is how I use up old palettes because I'm not happy with. It's red. Whether it's like this one, I'm just not happy with my mix, and I've tried using it, and I feel like I'm really, that's a lot of paint right there, fighting it, and I don't like that feeling. So it's time for it to move on down the road. Go move on to something else. And I can tell I didn't like this one because I didn't use it a lot, and I kind of ignored it until I'm at the point where I'm like, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Where's that? Stay. For a second, I thought it was going to fall. And another way to use it up, because that's just printer paper. And that's to make collage paper out of it. Making your own collage paper is really quite fulfilling. At least I feel so. I think I want some newsprint. I don't think I have any in here. Because you get stuff that no one else has. And I'm going to go grab me some newsprint. Okay, so I ran and grabbed some newsprint that I tore as I was getting out. I like newsprint. This is a lighter newsprint than some of them. What I like about it is just the color's a little different underneath than a white. And especially when you're doing sheer layers, newsprint can be really cool looking. The pretty color is so pretty, but sometimes in faces I don't like it. I prefer the transparent red oxide, frankly, over this. But it does do some really beautiful effects. But this is one way. I don't waste paint. So I use collage a lot, and more I make a lot of my own collage papers because I enjoy it, and you just get stuff that other people will never have because you made it, which is fun. And a lot of times the colors you use, fall more into the colors that you use category. So you can have a wide variety too. And no one, absolutely no one I know as an artist likes to waste paint. Absolutely no one. No one who's like, oh yeah, I'll waste some paint, man. And I'm not talking about like failed paintings. I'm talking like paint dry on the palette kind of thing. Bad art is not a waste of paint. Bad art is how you get better. And also doing things like this where like I don't give a hoot of how this turns out. There's no attachment whatsoever at how any of these collage papers are turning out. I'm just making marks. And if I'm unpleased with them, I just put more layers on until I am pleased with them. Although this one's kind of cool. I'm into circles lately. These kind of circly things. So yeah, you can a lot of times I like to do these. I have a lot of paint. I usually don't have this much paint left on a palette, and that's why I can tell I really didn't like this one. Yeah, so this is, see, but this is pretty. I like this. This will get used. Throw you over there to try. I'm just gonna, because even something like this can be really cool collage paper with these little streaks of whatever. You don't have to fill it all up with paint. I just have a lot of paint that I'm moving through. And that pretty much, yeah, takes care of it. And then the final thing I do with it. And if that was more dry, I would probably do it on there. But it's like this. It's like a mono print. Let's go. And they turn out kind of cool, I feel. I do them quite a bit in well, anywhere anymore. Get the paint off. Use all the paint. A lot of times I keep going with them until they start. So it's pretty much done for. Ripping. But if you're making your own palettes like this with a wet palette, it's just, and see, even if you, I do not keep these, but even if you wanted to, you could use this as a collage paper. Sometimes we have to have some boundaries at how far we go. It's like when I was quilting, these smaller, that's all done for. These, I knew how much I liked to fabric, but the small infinitesimal amount that I was willing to keep. It's like, I mean, you can't really do anything with it, but I kept it. And then I finally hit the point where I'm like, no, these have to go. And it's kind of the same thing with this. It's like, I could keep them, but at the same time, how far do I want to go? How much collage creation do I truly need? So now I'm all ready to set up a new palette, and hopefully one I like better than this previous one. So yeah, that's how I deal with excess paint, and so I don't waste it, because no one likes wasting paint. It's a bummer. Two things you can do that's fun too. Like this has quite a bit of paint on it, almost impasto esque. Smush that down, and you get something like that, which is starting to turn into this cool little collage piece. And if you're using your watercolor paper, you can use it also to create backgrounds, because I do both too. I just didn't grab a watercolor. I focused on making some collagey stuff this time. So yeah, easy way to use up a palette you're unhappy with or excess paint.